How long could they realistically extend their life year by year as biology wages war against time? This voiceover dives deep into the scientific, biological, and medical realities, mapping a high-risk, high-reward path from age 60 onward, leveraging every 2026 breakthrough while confronting immune rejection, organ fatigue, cancer risks, and systemic decay. Start with the baseline. Human lifespan caps around 120 years due to Hayflick limit, telomere shortening halting cell division after 40-60 cycles, compounded by oxidative damage, glycation, and protein misfolding accumulating as advanced glycation end products stiffen tissues. Unlimited money buys meticulous prevention. Caloric restriction mimetics like rapamycin suppress mTOR pathways, extending mouse lifespan 20% by autophagy induction. Metformin activates AMPK for metabolic youthfulness. Senolytics like dasatinib plus quercetin selectively kill senescent zombie cells, secreting inflammatory SAS factors fueling aging. Daily NAD plus boosters via NR precursors recharge certain enzymes, repairing DNA strands, while hyperbaric oxygen floods mitochondria with singlet oxygen scavengers, proven in 2025 trials to lengthen telomeres 20% in immune cells. At age 60, kidneys falter first. Glomerular filtration rate drops 1 milliliter per minute per decade post-40 due to nephron sclerosis. Swap them preemptively with a gene-edited pig kidney, building on NYU Langone's 2025 xenotransplant where patient Richard Slayman survived 271 days before rejection. By 2026, CRISPR knocks out 3 alpha-gal genes, GGTA1, B4GALNT2, CMAH, plus inserting human complement regulators CD46, CD55, DAF, and thrombomodulin, slashing hyperacute rejection. Triple immunosuppression, tacrolimus inhibiting calcineurin, mycophenolate blocking purine synthesis, prednisone damping cytokines, keeps it humming 5 to 10 years, monitored by real-time biopsy nanobots sampling urine for donor DNA spikes. When creatinine climbs, robotic laparoscopic swap takes 4 hours under perfusion preservation cooling organs to 4 degrees Celsius, flushing University of Wisconsin solution rich in lactobianane antioxidants. Heart demands attention next. Coronary atherosclerosis narrows arteries via foam cell-laden plaques, oxidizing LDL cholesterol, sparking endothelial inflammation. Bypass evolves into total artificial heart. SynCardia upgraded with titanium blood-compatible polyurethane diaphragms pneumatically driven by miniaturized compressors weighing under 200 grams, tethered externally until 2027 wireless induction charging. Better yet, porcine valved conduit hearts from Revivacor, surviving baboons 945 days in 2024 trials. 2026 human trials hit 2-year marks with costimulation blockade bilatuzumab targeting CD40-CD154 pairs, preventing T-cell activation without broad lymphoepitheliation. Ventricular assist devices like HepaMate 3 titanium centrifugal pumps unload left ventricles, reducing hospitalizations 50%, bridging to transplant or recovery. Lungs degrade via emphysema. Elastase from neutrophil bursts shredding alveolar septa, or idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis stiffening interstitium with fibroblast proliferation. Double lung transplant from DCD donors. Donation after circulatory death yields 7-year median survival, but 2026 normothermic perfusion machines oxygenate lungs ex vivo 24 hours, repairing ischemia reperfusion injury with anti-IL-6 perfusates. Artificial lung prototypes, ALung MC3 via venovenous ECMO, membrane oxygenators coated with covalently bound heparin swap CO2 for O2 across 2 square meters surface, implanted paracorporally until fully wearable lithium battery models by 2028. Liver cirrhosis from NASH EFLD, non-alcoholic fatty disease, progresses through steatosis, ballooning hepatocytes, fibrosis to nodular regeneration. Orthotopic transplant severs portal vein, IVC, hepatic artery, bile duct, replacing in 8 hours. By 2026, hepatocyte xenotransplants infuse 10 billion pig cells into spleen portal, producing albumin sans whole organ. Bioartificial livers, HepaMate hollow fiber cartridges seeded with CEP45 expressing human iPS hepatocytes detoxify ammonia via urea cycle enzymes, filtering 500 milliliters plasma hourly, buying 6 months for regeneration post-acute failure. Full swaps use marginal steatotic livers resuscitated on organ ox machine, maintaining 37 degrees with hormonal cocktails inducing tolerance. Intestines rarely fail alone, but short bowel syndrome post-resection starves via malabsorption. Bile salts undelivered, bacterial overgrowth fermenting carbs to delactate acidosis. Serial transverse enteroplasty lengthens remnants or multivisceral transplant bundle stomach, duodenum, jejunum, ileum, colon, pancreas. 15-year survival climbs to 70% with alemtuzumab induction depleting CD52 lymphocytes for tolerance. Teduglutide GLP-2 analogs hyperplasia villi 40%, reducing parenteral nutrition dependence. Pancreas tackles diabetes type 1, autoreactive CD8 T cells destroying beta islets, or post-surgical insufficiency. Portal vein infusion of allogeneic islets cultured in serum-free media yields 5-year insulin independence in 50%. 2026 stem cell-derived beta cells from VSI's PIC-INCAP, protected by alginate microcapsules from macrophage siege, secrete insulin responsive to glucose via CR1-Cas6.2 channels. Pig islet xenografts with CTLA4 Ig fusion proteins block CD28 co-stimulation, survive 900 days in primates. Skin grafts routine for burns. Split-thickness autografts from thigh cultured ex vivo on dermal scaffolds, but full-body rejuvenation via fractional CO2 laser ablates senescent fibroblasts, triggering keratinocyte migration over fibrin provisional matrix. 2026 fractional allogeneic scaffolds from decellularized porcine dermis impregnated with adipose stem cells secrete VEGF, PDGF for angiogenesis, healing 80% faster, sans scarring. Eyes degenerate via macular degeneration, drusen deposits oxidizing RPE cells starving photoreceptors, or glaucoma cupping optic nerve via trabecular meshwork fibrosis blocking alveolus humor. Retinal implant Argus 2 epiretinal array stimulates ganglion cells via 60 electrodes powered inductively. By 2026, optogenic vision restoration virally delivers channel rhodopsin to surviving bipolars, light activated at 470 nanometers driving spikes to cortex. Corneas from bioengineered human limbal progenitors layered on collagen, restoring transparency. Now stack replacements strategically. At 70, kidneys and liver first, extending runway 15 years to 85 as immunosuppression regimens evolve. JAK inhibitors like baricitinib block interferon gamma signaling, anti-CD38 daratumumab depleting plasma cells producing donor antibodies. Cancer risk skyrockets fivefold from chronic calcineurin inhibition, promoting EBV lymphomas via impaired T-cell surveillance. Preempt with CAR T-cells engineered against B-cell malignancies, CD19 targeting chassis with PD-1 knockout evading exhaustion. At 80, heart-lung block transplant under ex vivo perfusion, EVHP, normothermically supports donor organs 48 hours, gene-editing endothelial cells with zinc finger nucleases silencing HLA class 1A2 mismatches. Artificial pancreas-liver hybrids integrate via vascularized scaffolds, 3D bioprinted with omentum fat wrap inducing vessel ingrowth. Blood, universal donor HB tetramers encapsulated in PIGDA hydrogels, reticulocytes maturing into erythrocytes sans nuclei, transfuse continuously. 90s bring vascular crisis. Atherosclerosis occludes carotids, aorta aneurysms dissect via medial smooth muscle apoptosis. Endovascular grafts, stent-supported polyester tubes deploy via femoral access, branching fenestrations aligning renal arteries. 2026 self-healing polymer grafts with embedded sirolimus-eluting nanoportals inhibit intimal hyperplasia. Senescent endothelial replacement via circulating angiogenic cells harvested from bone marrow, homing via SDF1 CXCR4 axis. Bone marrow transplant refreshes hematopoiesis. Ablated stroma repopulated by HSCs transduced with anti-aging FOXO3 overexpression, resisting replicative senescence. Clonal hematopoiesis mutations like DNMT3A confer leukemia risk. CRISPR excises founder clones pre-transplant. Platelets bioprinted from megakaryocytes mitochondria optimized for ATP yield. Musculoskeletal decay hits. Sarcopenia shrinks type 2 fibers via myostatin upregulation, ubiquitin proteasome degrading myofibrils. AAV delivered follistatin traps myostatin, hypertrophy boosting mass 20% in primates. Decellularized porcine ECM scaffolds seeded with autologous satellite cells regenerate atrophied vastus lateralis. Osteoporosis, Rankel osteoclasts resorbing trabeculae, countered by denosumab Rankel blockade plus intermittent PTH anabolics building bone density 15% annually. Brain aging looms largest. Amyloid plaques tangle tau, neurofibrillary tangles hyperphosphorating microtubules. hippocampal atrophy, shrinking episodic memory via perforant path loss. At 85, deep brain stimulation electrodes in fornix drive endogenous BDNF neurogenesis, slowing decline 30% in trial. 2026 optrode arrays, fiber optics coupled to ground lenses, illuminate CHR2 expressing interneurons, modulating default mode network hyperactivity, fragmenting cells. Stem xenografts, human iPS astrocytes into pig neural organoids, vascularized via endothelial co-culture, engrafting dentate gyrus without tumorigenicity. Full head transplant? No. Spinal cord fusion impossible? Astrocytes inhibiting axonal regeneration via chondroitin sulfate proteoglycans. Neural dust motes, 1 mm silicon piezoelectrics powered ultrasonically, decode motor cortex intent for robotic quadriplegia control. Bandwidth scaling to 1 megabit per second by 2028. Tetraplegia bypass via ventral tegmental dopamine graphs, restoring reward prediction errors. 100 years, systemic entropy accelerates, mitochondrial heteroplasmy skews mutant mtDNA, suppressing OX-POS complexes on IV, ROs exploding. Mitotalins selectively degrade mutant genomes, restoring 80% wild-type shift. Telomerase HTR lentiviral delivery lengthens telomeres judiciously, evading C-mitonctogenesis via suicide genes activated by p53 surveillance. Xenohydrid chimeras emerge, bladders, tracheas resacularized on decellularized matrices since 2008 scale to multivisceral cassettes. Thoracoabdominal evisceration replacing heart, lungs, liver, kidneys and block under VA ECMO cardiopulmonary bypass. Pig organs humanized via 12 gene edits survive 3 years in 2026 baboon models. CMAH null endothelium resisting NK cell perforant. Cancer metastasis ravages. Circulating tumor cells evade shear via epithelial mesenchymal transition, extravasating via VEGF permeable endothelium. Liquid biopsy nanotech. Graphene oxide nanoparticles, conjugated ASGPR homing hepatocytes, detects ctDNA at 0.01% variant allele frequency. CRISPR-Cas13d RNA targeting degrades mutant transcripts pre-expansion. Hypothermic intraperitoneal chemotherapy ablates peritoneal seeds, magnetic nanoparticles oscillating under AMF cooking tumors 43 degrees selectively. Immunosenescence cripples. Naive T-cell pool shrinks as memory clones expand oligoclonally, thymic involution having output post-puberty. IL-7 fused antibodies expand recent thymic emigrants tenfold. Sex steroid ablation with LHRH agonist rejuvenates epithelial thymocytes. B-cell neogenesis from iPSCs restores somatic hypermutation diversity. Endocrine axis falters. Gonadal failure drops DHEA testosterone. Adrenal cortex atrophies zonoglomerulosal aldosterone. Glandular xenografts. Decellularized testes recellularize Sertoli-Leydig progenitors. Restore pulsatile hormone via kispeptin-ENRH pulses. Pineal melatonin implants counter circadian drift. Gut microbiome dysbiosis feeds inflammation. Firmicutes bacteroidetes ratio inverts. LPS endotoxin breaching mucus via zonulin. Fecal microbiota transplant from centenarian donors prunes pathobionts. Engineered phages target AI-resistant Enterobacteriaceae. Akkermansia muciniphila supplementation thickens barrier via mucin 2 glycans. At 110, full artificial body beckons, ambulatory exoskeletons encasing miniaturized VADs, artificial lungs backpacked, dialysis-free kidneys fist-sized, bioprinted vascular trees, sacrificial gelatin molds supporting HeVec parasites, perfused tissue slabs centimeters thick, magnetically levitated centrifugal pumps blood silently, hemolysis under 10 milligrams per liter. Nanoswarms patrol. DNA origami cages deliver doxorubicin site-specifically via aptamer locks. CRISPR-based editors silence senescence genes P16INK4A, P21CIP1 genome-wide. Glycan shield stripping exposes sialic acid mask tumors to NK92 ML88 carriers. In 120 Wardi Shani, telomere crisis hits end replication problem shortens lags critically. Chromosomes fusing dicentric bridges shattering genomes. TERT, pseudogene decoys evade immune detection, licensing unlimited Hayflick. Epigenetic clock, Horvath's 353 CpG methylation. Rewinds via Yamanaka OSKM factors, dosed transiently. Partial reprogramming restoring youthful Horvath age -20 years without pluripotency tumors. Organoid medicine matures. Kidney organoids from iPS mesoderm aggregate glomeruli, tubules collecting ducts vascularized by hind limb perfusion in mice, scaled to fist size via bioreactor spinner flasks, transplanted retroperitoneally. Liver buds self-assemble hepatocytes, stellate cells, sinusoids, 10 billion cells yielding 400 milliliters perfused detoxification. Neural lace integrates, 1 million carbon nanotube electrodes interwoven via electrophoresis, decoding 1,000 neurons per cubic millimeter for thought-controlled prosthetics. Hippocampal replay decoding restores spatial memory via closed-loop theta burst stimulation. 130 years. Entropy nears limit. Protein homeostasis collapses, ubiquitin tagging overwhelmed by aggregates, proteasome inhibited by oxidized lipids, molecular chaperones HSP7290 overexpressed via CRISPR, disaggregases refolding prions, lysozyme TFE activation ramps macroautophagy, mitophagy via PINK1 parking ubiquitin chains, blood-brain barrier breaches via claudin-5 downregulation. Parasite loss starves parasites. AAV9 shuttled claudins reseal tight junctions. Exosome hitchhikers ferry GDNF across for dopaminergic rescue. Viral latency reactivates. HSV1 CMV genomes persisting epigenetically flare under immunosuppression. Latency reversing agents like romidepsin HDAC inhibitors purge reservoirs. Vaccine-boosted CD8 effectors clearing lytically infected. 140 years. Quantum biology interventions. Coherent energy transfer in cryptochromes maintains circadian fidelity. Mitochondrial FMO superradiance boosts efficiency. Spin-labeled qubits monitor ROS femtosecond dynamics. Full cyborg transition. Graphene skin sheets piezoelectric-powered haptic feedback via piezo 1 channels. Modular organs snap in via magnetic anastomosis. Bioresorbable stents dissolving post-integration. 150 years. Thermodynamic horizon. Second law grinds order to chaos. Free energy gradients flattening. Artificial wombs gestate cloned progeny as continuity vessels. Gametes matured from iPS germline. Risk stacking compounds. Each transplant adds 10 to 20% mortality from infection, thrombosis, malignancy. Immunosuppression multiplies CMV, BK virus polyoma nephropathy 50-fold. Prophylactic letamo via PK inhibits terminase complex. Cumulative radiation from annual PET CTs 50 millisieverts elevates leukemia 5%. Switch to photoacoustotic ultrasound with targeted microbubbles. Psychosocial toll. Donor organ scarcity forces black market kidneys at $500,000 each. Xenografts skirt ethics via private UAE clinics bypassing FDA Phase 1 eyes. Realistic trajectory, tiered extensions. First 30 years to 90 via kidneys, liver, heart. Survival 80% with concierge teams. Next 20 to 110 via xenobio-artificial hybrids, 50% odds. 110-130 artificial organ dominance, 20%. Beyond 130 experimental rejuvenomics, 5% shot. Records anchor optimism. 2025 pig kidney 271 days scales to 5 years by 2026. Heart transplants hit 41 years. Kidneys 52 plus. Unlimited money buys first access trials, custom xenografts, offshore facilities. Biological breaks persist. Brain irreplaceable. Whole mount serial sectioning destroys cognition. Nanoscale connectome upload theoretical. Fidelity loss inevitable. Stem gliogenesis restores volume but synaptic weights drift. Ultimate limit. Cosmic radiation mutating stem niches. Error catastrophe overwhelming proofreading polymerases. Nanobot swarms self-replicating via DNA origami assemblers repair picosecond lesions. In 2026, endless money yields 120-150 years for aggressive patients starting midlife, stacking interventions like Russian dolls, organ swaps every 5 to 15 years, rejuvenance bridging gaps. Push to 200 requires 2030s breakthroughs, but biology bends slowly. This billionaire outlives generations. Body a patchwork testament to human ingenuity, warring entropy, consciousness flickering amid engineered meat until silicon beckons.